Hello YouTube, Coach Lee here. We recently came back from an event in Taipei called Clash of Steel. It's run by HEMA Union and powered largely by Vornok in Taiwan. The head organizer, Xiao Feng, a friend of ours, and of course the person who started it, Exia Lee, one of the powerhouse fighters here in Asia, had us there teaching, and we were there and coaching our Blood and Iron trained team from the Forge Pioneer. So we met new people, reconnected with old friends. Absolutely wonderful atmosphere and event, but we're going to get into the specifics later on.
First up, let's have a look at the city. Taipei, if you've never been there, you are missing out. It is a warm, welcoming, beautiful city. And the people there's a level of kindness and civility that I haven't experienced in many years. Lee and I travel the world, and we've been to cities in North America and Mexico, Europe. This place is a bit of a standout. There was always somebody willing to help when we were in need. And the best example I have of this is Lee and I got caught in one of these huge tropical downpours. We were drenched, a couple of drowned rats. We're running from awning to awning. This really kind old man ran out of one of the shops that we had just passed and just gave us 2 umbrellas. I guess maybe we must have looked really sad, but that's the kind of thing that I haven't had happen to me anywhere else. And the other thing that I found really interesting was we were actually recognized on the street. Same brown rats. We had one of our viewers come up. "Are you Lee and Nicole Smith?" We're like, "Yes." "How did you even find us?" It was very lovely meeting you, Jane. Yes. Now, that's the city and the people. Kind, great. But even better, the food. Oh my God. Lee and I did not have a bad meal anywhere. Well, the hotel, but I'll talk about that later. Didn't matter where we went. We kind of chose places at random, things that looked good, usually en route from between where the hotel and the venue was. Half the time we had kind of an idea what we were ordering, but the food was always delicious. The night market, not to be missed. We went to one of the smaller ones just because it was closer to the hotel. I can't imagine what going to one of the bigger ones was, because there was no way you can have an appetite large enough to go through everything. There were so many good things. Scallion pancakes, giant squid. I mean, I could go on forever.
So let's talk about the event, and first where it's held. So they held this event at Sanchong Civil Sports Center. And it was actually quite nice, really big, really clean, lots of facilities. I was pretty impressed, and definitely a lot of room to grow. So our team taught 2 seminars there. The first was a seminar on Meyer Square, led by our student and the Forge Pioneer coach, Coach Rio Ortiz. Him and his team basically taught Meyer Square and how to use it, and it was a good start to the day. You could see a lot of guys, really things were clicking. It was really, really concise. He had really good visuals to go with it. So it was pretty clear he prepared his seminar well. I was really proud of him as a teacher because I could see how much work he put into his presentation, how seriously he took teaching his students. So well done, Rio. I was really impressed. The second was Nicole and I's seminar the following day. We were teaching the biomechanics of rapier, and it seemed to go pretty well. It was a very busy class. The class was packed. I had to dodge a few rapiers here and there, but that seemed to be pretty much par for the event, because quite often the judges were also dodging swords. It was a radical departure from teaching at places such as CombatCon or SoCal in the US. As the students here, they just seem like they're more willing to learn, they're more interested, and so I was quite impressed with student quality. And from the feedback I got from other teachers, they had the same feeling. Overall, the workshops I saw were well planned and well executed. They presented a variety of weapons and different martial arts styles from a variety of cultures. So that was refreshing as well. So I saw some Japanese stuff, I saw some traditional Chinese martial arts. I seen a bunch of different HEMA interpretations. All of them pretty good. I mean, I was pretty impressed with what I saw. Garnered a few new tricks for myself. Maybe figured out a few mechanics for tournament for my students who I was coaching, but that's how it is. As you all know, who watch this channel frequently, Nicole and I have been around the world and really have lost count of the number of events we've attended, been a part of, or helped plan. And so it was actually nice to just sit in the coach's seat for once. I think really it's one of the few events I got to just be a coach. And basically running around during the tournaments back and forth, sometimes facing Nicole in the other corner with her student. But that's the name of the game when you're coaching a huge team. And we had a pretty big team. It was like 9 people. So let's talk about the rule set. Now everybody knows I'm quite passionate about rule sets, and I will start making videos breaking down rule sets in subsequent videos. But for now, let's focus on Clash of Steel. Clash of Steel uses a weighted afterblow system, which, as most people know, I really don't like. With that said, this was the best use of the weighted afterblow system that I've seen, as Axiel and Xiaofang had done a really good job of training their team. These guys were prepared, and they were quick on the draw to make sure that participant safety was number one. And I mean, that is something to behold in terms of their skill at quickly commanding a pit and bringing in their judges and controlling the fighters at a level that is rarely seen in modern HEMA tournaments, especially in places like Europe, where you just basically get a lot of afterblow monkey stuff. So great job, Xiaofang and Axiel, for basically doing what I thought was impossible. There is something interesting about this tournament that no one else has done really well. And this I completely attribute. I actually refer to this as Axiel's innovation. And I'll probably use it in my subsequent rule sets. As he has iPad judges to mitigate tough calls, properly call double versus afterblow, and uses it in a way that's extremely efficient. And this takes immense levels of judge training. So, I mean, he's really Vornok has set the bar really, really high. And I don't know if it could be used in North America or used in Europe, just because the culture of cooperation here in Asia is so strong that the culture complements this type of rule. And it's something to behold, and it's something we should all seek to emulate. It's quite nice. So honestly, is a game changer. And people aren't protesting every point. They're only protesting when they feel the need to. And this is some of the wonderful things I found in Clash of Steel, is that the people were interested generally in winning well and properly versus just winning at all cost. So quite a nicely done tournament culture that I haven't experienced before, but I actually felt invigorated by. So another win for my friend Axiel Lee. The elimination rounds are something interesting, and this I'm kind of not sure if I like or not. I won't lie to you guys. The way the eliminations were done was by lot draw, which I'm not sure how I feel about. I mean, maybe I'm just so stuck in my ways, but I'm not against it either. So because we had so many people in the elimination rounds, our team made up 25% of longswords eliminations and 50% of rapiers eliminations. Unfortunately, in the rapier side, we ended up killing each other to get one person in the final. So that would be the weakness of this lot draw system. It was hard for my student, Coach Veer, who had to fight my other student, his son, Badger Tahanera, in the quarterfinals, first round of the match. It was a beautiful matchup between father and son, but unfortunately for Veer, Badger's a natural rapier talent. Veer gave him a hell of a fight, but rapier's never really been his strongest weapon, but it's definitely his son's. The other thing that was interesting was a round robin at the end. So top 3, each one fights each other, then they take a point score, and that determines the winner. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that either, because you get 2 people from the same club. One might sandbag so the other can for sure win, or one of them gets silver gold. That's possible. I don't think it would be, I can't see a club as honorable as Vornok doing that. It's not really their style, very clear from what I saw. But I could definitely see it from some other clubs I've encountered. So it has its pros and its cons. I didn't hate it though, so that's something. So for our team, which I prepared for 2.5 months prior to this, that's why you didn't see a lot of video from the Forge Pioneer Club, as you would normally see. When we have camps, we shut down video. Well known that we do this. A lot of other people do the same thing. Very common in the MMA community. So our overall performance, pretty good. 25% of the longsword elimination spots went to our team. We had even one guy make it as far as the semifinals, top 6. Great work, Thais Villanueva. Awesome job. course, our rapier performance. The rapier performance exceeded my expectations in many ways. We had 6 of the 12 that advanced. Very happy with that. A 50% margin walking in with a new team is very difficult to achieve. Very happy with that. On top of that, Badger Tahanera took the technical fighter spot with a massive score. Essentially fought like a young Nicole, and he did have Nicole in his corner, as you'll see in the videos. So it was no surprise. We're very proud of him, and I mean, for a guy who's like 17, 18, he is really someone to watch in the next 5-6 years. Also, of course, we did medal. Pretty good. Now, Coach Rio Ortiz, one of my top students, took 3rd place in the rapier tournament. It's pretty good because rapier was never a weapon he was really passionate about. And because of an injury, he hasn't been able to do longswords, so rapier was kind of second choice. But it turns out he's got a gift. So watch out for Rio Ortiz. He's coming to a tournament near you. So all in all, great success, wonderful experience and event. Probably the most fun I've had at an event, like a big event, in the past decade. So, I mean, it was pretty good. Nicole and I had a wonderful time. We'll definitely be back.
Our time in Taipei was wonderful, but for one little thing. Now, our hosts recommended 2 hotels, and I'm guessing they probably chose them due to their proximity to the event and somewhat on their rating. But I would advise you to skip the Walker Hotel. We were not at all happy with the location. It wasn't especially clean or well organized, and at one point, one of our neighbors decided to smoke in their room and set off an alarm that I swear to God, it sounded like The Purge. It was nuts. And we had no idea what was going on. It went on for about like 10 minutes, and then at that point we're like scared awake at 3 a.m. Can't get back to sleep. But anyway, spoke to management about it. They did absolutely nothing. Didn't care. Yeah, whatever. It's a safety measure. Also too, they had a free breakfast. Yeah, it was included. But it was not very good. I would recommend skip the breakfast in the hotel and go and find the wonderful food out there in Taiwan has to offer. Because yeah, that's where the gold is. It's definitely not at the Walker Hotel. Wander down the street to some of the little mom and pop shops that are there. There's one that's literally just down the road a bit and has the most wonderful xiaolong bao that we have ever had. Let's see, the noodle dish. That's another little place just down the road. So many little tiny places with wonderful food. Leave the hotel, go hit the gold.
Hello, YouTube. Smish that like button. Hit subscribe. And check out the links below. We even have a free Discord for you. Wow, it's free.
Being able to teach a class and spend the rest of the time cornering our team was a really nice experience for me. Actually, one of the highlights were those few occasions where I had to corner someone and Lee was cornering someone at the other end. And it came with sort of like an interesting chess between we two with our little, pieces on the board. Anyway, I found it interesting, and I think I won a few of those matches. Being able to coach our fighters through this event was a very rewarding experience, and it was wonderful to see them do so well. But the standouts for me were coaching the young ones, the future of HEMA. Luis started the tournament off. He was literally the first round, first pool, everything. And he really kind of set the tone for the team because he slayed them all. Came out of nowhere, exceeded our expectations and our wildest dreams. Well done. Badger is cool precision with a rapier. This kid, cold as ice and then stabs you in the face. You will not see it coming. It was such a pleasure to be in their corner throughout the pools and being able to guide and give them little tips on, where the openings were and do this, do that, and then actually see them do the thing and get the point. Very refreshing. I am looking forward to coaching this team at future events throughout Asia. But don't worry, we'll be back Taipei.
And that brings us to the end of our video. Taipei, Clash of Steel, wonderful experience. If you're going to be in the region, come check it out. Get get some fights in. The only regret I have is not doing enough tourism. I should make sure to budget to stay a few extra days because it's a beautiful place. It was called Isla Formosa by the Portuguese, and for good reason. Highly, highly recommend. Great tournaments, great food, great people, absolutely beautiful. No reason not to go. See you next year in Taipei. Thanks, my Patreon subscribers. You guys are awesome. And of course, train hard, fence easy.